Hello, everybody. This lecture will explore the topic of culture in a language classroom, its types and its elements, its importance in a foreign language classroom. Thus, it is crucial to make better sense of what culture is and how it shapes our beliefs, our attitudes, our communication styles, and behaviors. So, first of all, we have to define culture. So, culture may be defined as a way of life, as the context within which people exist, think, feel, and relate to others, as the glue that binds groups of people together. Moreover, culture can also be defined as the ideas, customs, skills, arts, and tools that characterize a certain group of people in a given period of time. From the point of view of the National Standards for Foreign Language Learning 1996, culture can be understood to include the three P's. What do we mean by the three P's? They are the philosophical perspectives, the behavioral practices, and both tangible and intangible products of a society. Now we move to the different types of culture or categories of culture. In language, we can distinguish between big C and little or small c culture. So what is meant by big C culture? Big C culture refers to that culture which is most visible. So some visible forms of culture include art, popular culture, literature, and food are visible to people. When learning about a new culture, the big C cultural elements would be discovered first. So they are the most overt forms of culture. Second, little c culture. So what is little c culture? Little c culture, in contrast, is the more invisible type of culture associated with a region, group of people, language, and so on. Some examples of little c culture may include communication styles, verbal and non-verbal language symbols, cultural norms, which means what is proper and improper in social interactions. It means what is forbidden and what is acceptable, how to behave, myths and legends. As we have already mentioned, recent views of culture include the three P's of culture, which are products, practices, and perspectives. So products are belonging to the big C cultural elements such as literature, architecture, and so on. Practices are little c cultural elements like bowing, shaking hands, and so on. Perspectives are the underlying values and beliefs of a people. Now we are going to shed light on the different elements of a culture. So the various elements of culture are as follows. Number one, language. So the first and foremost element of culture is language. It is the vehicle that is used to transfer knowledge, to transmit ideas and information. It helps in direct connection with people and permits a better understanding of any given situation. Second point, which are symbols. So every culture has symbols that are used as a means of non-verbal communication and even stand for emotions and reactions. The third element is called norms. So another element of culture is norms. Because various culture differs in their norms, it can be formal and informal. So the formal norm is laws and refers to the set of standards of behavior which are most important to every society. The informal norms are often known as customs and refer to the standard of conducts or behavior which is not so rigid but still can influence a great deal. The fourth element is values. So it is the element value that determines the behavior of a person and what he considers right or wrong. The following element is customs. So these customs are established or they are established practices, rules, or traditions that are considered as appropriate in a society. Attitude. This element means the underlying belief of an individual and his tendency to behave in a specific manner. Rituals. It is a set of activities with a specific meaning that occurs in a particular circumstance in society. Now we are going to see the importance of culture in language learning. So why is culture important to language learning? Culture is an absolutely essential part of the second language class. So without incorporating or integrating culture regularly in classroom, students lack or may lack an important component of the language learning process. So culture is an important element in language learning. It helps appropriate use of a language. So aside from understanding the linguistic side of language, culture is a key component in giving the students a well-rounded education in the chosen language and provides a context for understanding one's own culture. The next point is, how is culture learned? So people can get information about culture by different ways and strategies. Gaining, for example, cultural knowledge and cultural experience from other cultures. So cultural knowledge can be gained without ever leaving the language classroom. So through a variety of tools and resources, like for example, videos, guest speakers, internet clips, radio reports or shows, and literature, students can be exposed to a large variety of culturally significant elements. While it's true that there is no substitute for personal cultural experiences, the previously mentioned approaches, techniques, and tools can be used to facilitate students in their cultural learning. So by providing them with as many real-life or authentic experiences as possible, a second language teacher can widen the student's cultural awareness and competence. Thus, cultural experience, on the other hand, requires personal, tangible experience with the culture. Cultural experience can occur through one-on-one contact with native speakers. It means direct exposure to native speakers, and trips also to regions where the language is spoken is also important. To conclude, we may say that understanding a language involves not only knowledge of grammar, phonology, and lexis, but also certain features and characteristics of culture should be known by students. So culture is a continuous overflow of behaviors, attitudes, ethics of a group of people. The use of language in general is related to social and cultural values. Therefore, language is considered to be social and cultural phenomena. Consequently, communication problems may arise among speakers who do not know or share the norms of other cultures. So teaching culture is considered the fifth control skill in language teaching. Thank you for your kind attention.